Hello there and welcome. Today I want to talk about inner freedom or the lack of inner freedom. Sometimes it is very good and important to have doubts, to, take things in our stride, to not rush to, decisions, to not jump into conclusions. We need to, we need to kind of be with the questions. We need to resist that sense of urgency that so many times seems to be imposed upon us. Other times, and when it comes to creative work, I think many of us know this, when we're not in a state of flow, when we are not going step by step, like, focusing on little manageable actions, really, just kind of, enjoying and trusting the process. When we're not doing that, we are agonizing, we are dealing with resistance, right? So the way that sometimes this works is, okay, you try things, they don't work, you have an idealized picture in your head that, begins to wane, begins to not make so much sense. You begin to doubt, right? You begin to sort of contract yourself. You begin to contort even sometimes. You even at that point start to become a little cynical, start to become a little suspicious of expansion, of trying things. You then buy yourself time, right? You sort of delay things. And then, well, at this point, people think, yeah, I'm afraid of failure, I'm afraid of success. All of those, things that we tell ourselves or regurgitate to one another. Many times what we are afraid of is of the consequences, of the actual transformation and the potentially increased sense of responsibility that we're not prepared for, that we cannot even anticipate. And so that more protective or primitive kind of survival-based part of us, of our brains, tells us, hey, do it tomorrow. And of course, we all know by now, tomorrow never comes. And so, we then begin to experience the consequences of, not taking action on something that we know is just what the greater good wants. Because it is beneficial for the greater good and not just for ourselves. So while you suffer all these consequences, really, of unused creativity, of the stuff that is imploding in you, instead of kind of being channeled outwards, you might then feel tempted to just kind of keep it all to yourself. So I'm here to tell you, don't, if you can, don't keep it all to yourself, because it just kind of pesters and accumulates, and it's kind of paralyzing. It's not conducive to movement. So I say that, to movement, to flexibility, to a tiny little step, all of that stuff. So liberation, releasing somehow. It could be painting, it could be dancing, it could be going for a walk, it could be making a coffee, it could be talking to somebody. I think talking to someone who can just be there for you, really, and kind of just listen with no judgment, with compassion, or with just kind of that degree of kind of like honest, compassionate, almost neutrality. Just someone that you feel, what, they're the one that can, that I'm going to take the risk and kind of be vulnerable with. When you do that, for me, when you do that, when there is resistance, that is a way of dancing with resistance. And today I want to share with you some quotes that I absolutely love, because they inspire, I believe, myself and all of us to dance with resistance, I believe. So here we go. This is by an author called Tahira Murphy. For so many years I lived in constant terror of myself. Doubt had married my fear and moved into my mind, where it built castles and ruled kingdoms and reigned over me, bowing my will to its whispers until I was little more than an acquiescing pawn, too terrified to disobey, too terrified to disagree. I had been shackled, a prisoner in my own mind, but finally, I have learned to break free. So, I mean, this type of vulnerable sharing, it's like an opportunity to go into, to kind of, go inside people's minds and just realize that there's a universal quest here, I believe. Here is Rilke in his Letters to a Young Poet. And your doubt can become a good quality if you train it. It must become knowing. It must become criticism. Ask it whenever it wants to spoil something for you, why something is ugly. Demand proofs from it. Test it. And you will find it perhaps bewildered and embarrassed, perhaps also protesting. But don't give in. Insist on arguments and act in this way, attentive and persistent every single time. And the day will come when, instead of being a destroyer, it will become one of your best workers, perhaps the most intelligent of all the ones that are building your life. So I love this because this is like, well, turning things around, right? Developing a relationship with the doubt, with the fear, with the hesitation, and just kind of keep probing, keep asking questions, keep, just keep challenging it, really. Now, here's Carl Jung. This one just immediately ignites something in me. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. That's it. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. This is a very well-known quote, but I think it really makes a punch. Here is Albert Camus. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Yeah, I mean, it's like everything around us seems to be tempting us to be attached, to being chained to the usual stuff. And when we go, no, you know what, I'm going to challenge this, I'm going to work on my inner freedom, that in itself is an act of rebellion. I love that. Henry David Thoreau, he talks about the solitude, right? And that connection to freedom. And the connection of solitude to freedom. I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude. I think most writers, most artists recognize the need for solitude. Some people don't particularly enjoy it, but it is a friend of art and creativity and all of those things. Now, this particular one by Kafka really packs a punch for me. I am a cage in search of a bird. When I first read this, I was just like, wow, I am a cage. So it's like, the profound ways in which we limit ourselves in search of a bird. And then this one is a little more well known perhaps. A book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us. So something is frozen, something is blocked, something is caged, and we are going to liberate it. Here is Maya Angelou. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. She also says, do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. And the last one I want to finish with, which is kind of like a little way of paying tribute to Van Gogh, right? If you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. So it's not just the content of these sentences, it is the energy that they carry, because they come from who they come, you know, so they have like that charged voice of experience and of wisdom. There's something immortal about them, and that's why I wanted to share them with you. I find them just, continually inspiring, and just give me life. So thanks for listening, thanks for being there, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon. All the best for now. Bye, take care.